Welcome back. I'm Lisa. After I created my business plan, I started to watch the real estate market. I was looking for a building that would fit my needs, something that would check most, if not all, of the boxes that I felt were necessary for what I was trying to plan. The seasonal job I was doing sometimes made it possible for me to work through the off-season for most years, but it dropped off to part-time pretty rapidly. This schedule allowed me time to work on my project more fully. The process of buying a commercial piece of real estate is completely different than that of buying a home. When you decide it's time to buy a house, you will find a lender and they will ask you to bring 2 or 3 years worth of tax returns. They'll ask you to bring in all your bills and they'll sit down with you and they will figure out how much of a house you can afford. Then you go out shopping for houses in that price range. With commercial property, the process is kind of reversed. First, you find a piece of property that you'd be interested in, and then you have to go get qualified for it. The process of getting qualified can be very time consuming. It can be expensive. It isn't a process that you want to repeat any more than you have to. In August of 2022, about 6 years after this crazy idea took root, I found a possible building. There were meetings with city planners, discussions with real estate agents, contractors, an architect, a structural engineer. It was determined this particular piece of property just simply wasn't going to work for my needs. The cost to renovate it was just way too high. It involved changing the zoning, a lot of steps involved in that process. It simply would have been too expensive. After that, I got swept up into the seasonal job cycle once again. After that year's end, I began looking again. This was the post-pandemic world. Interest rates were high, and the real estate market was pretty much stagnant. The economy just really hadn't recovered from the shutdown. At the end of that seasonal cycle, I began to realize I was going to be repeating that annual cycle again. I didn't hate my job, it just wasn't what I want to be when I grow up. I really wanted to find my way out of this roundabout. I felt kind of stuck and quite frustrated. So I thought to myself, what's one thing I can do right here, right now, with the resources I have available to me to better prepare myself for the final product when it does come to fruition? I know some of my shortcomings are I suck at technology, I absolutely hate having my picture taken, and the number one phobia of most people is public speaking, so there's always room for improvement there. I decided I needed to start a YouTube channel. It would help me to get better at technology, help me get over my fear of having my picture taken, and it would help me improve my public speaking skills. So on November 10th, 2023, I launched My Random Recipes. With the exception of a 2-week vacation this last fall, I have posted a video every week since. I will include a link to My Random Recipes in the description below, so if you want to check that out, you can. Thank you for joining me on my journal. Talk to you later. Bye.